At Do Good Media, we build websites. We help small businesses build websites that will convert to customers. It would be a crying shame if your website was broken. Keep watching to learn 4 ways your website might be broken. In our world, we think about websites every single day. So these are pretty basic to us, but as a small business owner, you're an expert in what you do. I don't expect you to be an expert web designer. So here are 4 things you might want to consider to determine if your website is broken. The first thing, and this might even be the most important thing for any website at all, is you don't have a clear call to action. Can you imagine a scenario where you would ask people to come to your front door, you let them ring the doorbell, you'd open the door and you'd say, "Hello, customer," and close the door in their face? Don't do that. No. You'd say, "Come on in, buy my stuff," right? That's a call to action. If you look at your website right now, can you see a button that asks your customers to do something? If you can't find a button on your homepage that says, "Do this thing," your website might be broken, because you don't have a call to action. Now you may be thinking, "Well, Steven, I do have a call to action." Well, maybe you do. The problem is it may lack clarity. Let's pretend that you're a mechanic, okay? And you want people to come into your shop to get an oil change. You could say, "Come in today for an oil change." That's pretty clear. But if you said something like, "Oil changes are important," like that's a fact, but it's not a call to action. You're not telling your customers what to do. You're thinking, Steven, but I do have a call to action. It's so much better than oil is good. You have a button that says, "Learn more." Learn more what? What do you want me to do? You want me to become educated? No, you want me to come in and get my oil changed. Just say, "Get an oil change today." Okay, so you've got this button. You need that button to stand out. When I go to your website, the first thing I see needs to pop out because it's a high contrast color. It's not any other color on your website, but it's bright red, bright green, bright blue, bright pink, whatever. It just has to stand out. I have to see it and immediately know that's the thing they want me to push. All right, so you've heard this, you're thinking, "Well, what should I do?" Well, here's what you can do. Pull up your website in a web browser, and do you see a clear call to action? If not, make that change today. If making a change is daunting and you don't really want to mess with it, then just call Do Good Media. We'd love to build you a website that works. The second way to know your website might be broken is it's too slow. So how quickly does your website load? When you put in your domain and you click enter, how long does it take for that site to actually come up? If you're a business owner and you've been around for a while, you probably remember that sound. That was the sound of dial-up. It was the worst. It took forever. Now, almost everybody has high-speed internet. So most people expect a site to load quickly. So this is important for your customers because if a customer comes to your website and it doesn't load immediately, it's almost like a trigger to them that your site is broken. If your customer abandons your website, they're not gonna buy your things. So you want them to stay on your website. So there's several things that could factor into why your website is loading slowly. Before I talk about the things that are making it slow, I want you to understand basically how websites work. In order to have a website load in your computer, you have to send a request to receive a packet of information. That packet of information comes back and you get information on your screen. You can only do this one at a time, okay? Now the way I'm doing it is incredibly slow, but in real life it's milliseconds. It's super fast. But the more round trip packet requests it takes, the slower your site loads. Let's use the mechanic example again. You want to sell more oil changes, so what do? You take a great picture of you changing oil. That makes sense, but you take it with your iPhone. Awesome, great quality photo, fantastic. And it's plenty large for a website. It's gonna look great. The problem with a photo from your DSLR or your iPhone is the file size is too large. It'll take multiple trips just to get that image to show up on your browser. So what you wanna do is have small file size images. There are tools you can use to compress the image size so you still have a beautiful image without taking too many trips to load. Okay, so you're thinking, I don't know, is my site slow? I don't know. So there are websites you can use that are essentially online tools to test your load speed of your website. I would encourage you right now, go and test your site load speed. After you've done that, you know what your speed is. Test your biggest competitor. Is their site loading faster than yours? That's a problem. Your site's broken. There are many things you can do to improve the load speed of your site. Some of it gets pretty technical, so if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you might be able to do this to improve the load speed of your site today. If that seems daunting, if you're like, I don't want to do this, then call Do Good Media. We would love to build a site that works for you. The third way to know your website might be broken is it's inaccessible on mobile devices. How does your website look on one of these bad boys? Some terms you may have heard are mobile friendly or mobile optimized or mobile first. All these terms essentially mean that your website is optimized to look good on any screen size. Based on our data from sites here in North Florida, 70 to 85% of web visits are from mobile devices. So if you're holding out saying, nobody's looking at my website on a mobile phone, well, yeah, they are. There's a couple things you can do to test to see whether your website is mobile friendly or optimized for mobile devices. First, you can take your device and turn it this way and then turn it this way. If everything on your site stays exactly the same and there's been no shifts, chances are your site is broken. Another quick thing you can do to test this right now is to pull up your website on your mobile device and see if text continues to crawl past the edge of the screen. If words are going off the edge of the screen, your site's broken. Another quick test is go to your website or on your mobile device and pinch and zoom. Pinch and zoom. If your site moves around after you've pinched and zoomed, chances are it's not really mobile friendly. Just like we mentioned in the load speed, speed on mobile devices is incredibly important. People are getting more and more impatient on their device. If it doesn't load immediately, they're gonna move on. So make sure that your site is optimized for speed on mobile devices. One way you can do this is reduce the size of images. In fact, if an image isn't critical, make it go away. Don't even load it on a mobile device. Wait a second, you can change what loads on a mobile device instead of a computer screen? You're darn tootin'. It's the internet. You can do anything. Another thing small businesses don't really consider when they're thinking about the mobile version of their website, every time you have your phone number listed on your website, it actually uses a tel link so that I can click on it and call you. I'm already on a phone. You can do the same thing with email links and social media profiles. Make sure they're linked directly to the actual platforms because that's what people do on their cellular devices. Talk to your web developer now and have them fix it, or do it yourself. If you think that sounds scary, don't even worry about it. Just call Do Good Media. We can build you a website that works. We build websites for mobile devices all the time. The fourth way to know your website might be broken is it lacks security. Okay, so why is security important on your website? Most people are flipping out about security. When people say they're gonna sell your information, yuck. It's reasons like that that really upset customers, and customers do not want their information sold. If your site isn't secure, you might be leaving a gaping hole for ne'er-do-wells, miscreants, bad guys. Really, anyone with bad intentions could take the information from your customers just because you don't have it secure. So you may be asking yourself, well, how do I know if my site's secure or not? Pull up your website in a web browser. In the top left corner of your browser, you'll see some kind of icon. Usually it's like a green padlock. It'll say, this website is secure. If it doesn't have that, you might even have a message that says, not secure. This is a problem. If your website isn't secure, it's broken. Think about this for a second. Most of your customers are coming to your website because they've Googled your business name to get your phone number, or to get your hours, or to get the address, or to find out what services you provide. Google tells them this website is not secure. They essentially put a huge roadblock up and say, do not go here, customers. Go to my competitors. You don't want that. You need your site to be secure. There's a couple ways you can do that. One thing you can do is get an SSL, which stands for Secure Sockets Layer. Essentially, it just gives you that green padlock that says it is safe to enter. Google, which again is the largest search engine in the world, they're the ones who are sending most of your clients or customers to your website. If Google tells them, don't go here, guess what? They're not coming. you need a secure site. If you only do business in your community or your state, great, no worries. You still need an SSL because Google is going to start penalizing your website because it's not secure. Meaning your site will not show up as high as it used to in search results. This is organic value. You want to list as high as you can in Google so that people will go to your site instead of your competitors. If your competitor has an SSL and you don't, guess what? You're going down, they're going up. You don't want that. Be the competitor that wins. Get your site secure today. The thing is, it's not even that expensive. It's less than $100 a year. This should not be the thing that breaks your website. If you don't want to try to do this yourself, and I understand, it can be difficult, and if you're not used to websites, it can be very daunting. Don't worry about it. Do Good Media can help. Give us a call. We'd be happy to build you a safe and secure website that's lightning fast and get it up and running immediately. Pronto, stat, right now. If any of these problems apply to your website might be broken, but it's okay. We've given you some actions that you can take to solve these problems now by yourself. If it seems too daunting and you don't even want to touch it, by all means, call us. Here at Do Good Media, we'd be happy to build you a website that works.